Earlier this week, I posed a political question in the process and in the context of trying to help a friend and my audience understand a concept that people ask me about a lot. Why are so many Jewish people liberal? And a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, Norman Podhoretz, has written a book, an excellent book, to explain it. Mr. Podhoretz is himself Jewish. He is the husband of Midge Decter, the father of John Podhoretz. And I know all of them very well, and I've socialized with them on a number of occasions. And in the process of, let me just read you, Podhoretz has written a response to Abraham Foxman of the Anti-Defamation League, who is demanding that I apologize for borderline anti-Semitism. Now, anybody who listens to this program even marginally knows that this program is and has consistently been one of the most outspoken supporters of the Jewish people and of Israel in particular. And Mr. Foxman knows this as well. What I suspect happened is the usual thing that happens. Somebody took a few words that I said in a pretty long monologue, cut them up, and published them in a way to make it appear I said something that I didn't say. And rather than check it out, and by now I would think anybody in the mainstream media or in any mainstream American endeavor, after 20 years of this attack, these types of attacks, me being taken out of context and every one of them being shown to be wrong, every one of these attacks being shown to be fallacious, I would think that by now some people would realize what's going on. But I don't think that they do. I think they want these attacks to be real. I think they want the out-of-context quotes to be real. It's just like during this NFL controversy when there were purely fabricated quotes of me that were plastered all over the American media, newspapers, websites, television. The Reverend Jackson repeated them, that I supposedly supported slavery because it kept the streets safe at night, and that I wanted a congressional medal given to the assassin of Dr. Martin Luther King. And people knew that I didn't say it, but they wanted to believe I'd said it because they would love to get rid of me. Folks, the left has never been angrier at me than they are this week, because of what I myself said this week, only yesterday. Back when Obama was inaugurated, even prior to him being inaugurated, everybody was inside the celebrity bubble. Oh, we must not criticize our brand new president. He's so young and he's so historical. This means so much to America. We must hope and we must pray that he succeeds. Well, I didn't join any of that. I didn't want him to succeed. I don't want socialism in this country. I do not want the government running car companies, the banks, the student loan program. I don't want the government telling banks how they can and can't operate. I don't want Obama being everybody's boss. I don't want the government being able to hire and fire people and set salaries. That's all happened. I don't want that kind of thing. I wanted him to fail. I was the only person to say so. And that changed the political dynamic. It burst the bubble of the celebrity bubble that everybody was in, treating Obama not as a politician, but something much larger, transformational, post-partisan, post-racial, now we know post-achievement. He hadn't achieved anything. And so this year has transpired, and everything he's fought for, the big things, have crashed and burned, and it all came to a culmination this week. And so the sheer hatred of me crystallized and compacted this week. So I totally understand people trying to damage me and my credibility so that I'm no longer a factor. The thing is, when they do this, they only amplify me and add to my supposed importance. But you don't have to be anything other than a liberal to lie about me and attack me and so forth. And this silly, borderline anti-Semitic charge from the Anti-Defamation League is just silly. And here is what Mr. Podhoretz himself has written in response. He titled this, "It's Not Rush Limbaugh Who Should Apologize." In my new book, Why Are Jews Liberals?, I argue that it no longer makes any sense for so many of my fellow Jews to go on aligning themselves with the forces of the left. I also try to show that our interests and our ideals, both as Americans and as Jews, have come in recent decades to be better served by the forces of the right. In the course of describing and agreeing with the book the other day, Rush Limbaugh cited a few of the numerous reasons for the widespread puzzlement over the persistence of liberalism within the American Jewish community. And while discussing those reasons, he pointed to the undeniable fact that for a lot of people, prejudiced people, as he called them twice, he was not referring to himself, he was referring to bigots, prejudiced people. I was referring to Jew haters, and Mr. Foxman, this is what's been omitted from what you read that I said. I was alluding to what you know exists. You know that there are Jew haters out there, and I know there are Jew haters out there, and many of them are in the Obama administration or in his circle of friends. And Mr. Foxman, if you really want to go after anti-Semitism, you should first start looking at it on the left and within the Obama administration and within his circle of friends, because that's where you're going to find it. You're not going to find anti-Semitism on this radio show. You're going to find nothing but love and respect and admiration for the Jewish people and an unwavering support for Israel that has not ever shaken. I was referring to the Jew haters, the bigots. Twice I referred to prejudiced people. The word, and let me get the paragraph over here again. While discussing those reasons, Limbaugh pointed to the undeniable fact that for a lot of people, prejudiced people, as he called them twice, the words banker and Wall Street are code words for Jewish. Was it possible, he wondered, that Obama's attacks on bankers and Wall Street were triggering a certain amount of buyer's remorse within the American Jewish community, which gave him 78% of the vote? And finally, taking off from my observation that many Jewish liberals like to call themselves independents, this is Mr. Podhoretz speaking, Limbaugh wondered whether a fair number of the self-described independents who deserted Obama and voted for Scott Brown in Massachusetts might actually have been Jewish liberals. If so, Limbaugh concluded, Brown's victory could be even more indicative of an even bigger change in the political temper of the country than has so far been recognized. And for this, Rush Limbaugh has been subjected to a vile attack by Abraham Foxman, the national director of the Anti-Defamation League. Of course, Mr. Foxman has a long history of seeing an anti-Semite under every conservative bed, while blinding himself to the blatant fact that anti-Semitism has largely been banished from the right in the past 40 years, that it has found a hospitable new home on the left, especially where Israel is concerned. The left is where the anti-Israel forces exist, including in this administration, Mr. Foxman. This makes Foxman a perfect embodiment of the phenomenon I analyze in my book, Why Are Jews Liberals? Now, Foxman has the chutzpah to denounce Rush Limbaugh as an anti-Semite and to demand an apology from him to boot. If an apology is owed here, it is the national director of the Anti-Defamation League who should apologize for the defamatory accusation of anti-Semitism that he himself has hurled against so loyal a friend of Israel as Rush Limbaugh.